Oklahoma, welcome to the SEC. Your reward for joining is facing the toughest schedule in the conference. Good luck. Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. Ready to break down the Oklahoma Sooners, their first year in the Southeastern Conference. And it is a big year, year 3 under Brent Venables. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home of our exclusive expert picks and our exclusive weekly newsletters. But those expert picks, guys, the earlier you sign up for those, the better. Some of the best spread picks in the country, one of the lowest prices in the country, hitting over 63% all time here at our channel and beating out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 6 years. So if you want to win big with us and you want to rely on someone that's way better than all the other handicappers out there, this is the place for you. Go sign up today, become a member of our GE Nation. Everything there is for you to take advantage of and to enjoy this season even more. So Oklahoma, huge year in Norman. There are high expectations in Norman. You know, Brent Venables goes 6-7 in his first year, bounces back with a big 10-3 season last year. Now they make the transition to the toughest conference in the country, and Oklahoma got battered with the schedule. And we'll get to that in 1 second. But this is a team that, despite the tough schedule, has the talent to contend immediately in this conference. There's no doubt in my mind. They have the talent. They can handle it. Take a look at the offense. There are 7 starters back on that side of the ball, and what this comes down to for Oklahoma is their quarterback play and their offensive line play. Those are the 2 biggest things because, look, the skill positions, good. Gavin Sawchuk back at running back, I love it. Very solid. 5 of their top 6 pass catchers returned from last year, led by Nick Anderson, led by Jalil Farouk. Those are great players, and they've got the talent there. So, running back solid, wide receiver solid, quarterback and O-line. That's going to make or break Oklahoma's pretty much entire season. Jackson Arnold is a young quarterback with a lot of potential. Showed some of that potential in the bowl game, but has to cut down on the turnovers. 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions in that bowl loss last year to Arizona. But a lot of potential there. He's got a great arm, and I think now, with the whole offseason under his belt as a starter, I think we'll see a completely different guy. But part of the reason that he struggled some in that bowl game was because the offensive line wasn't all that great. And now the offensive line loses all 5 starters from last year. That's a major concern. So Brent Venables had to go out there and replace the entire offensive line with transfers. That's the day and age we live in now. And they got 5 new offensive linemen that have a combined 114 starts. So there's experience there, but how quickly will they gel? That's a $1 million question. So how does Jackson Arnold fare in his first year as a starter? How does the offensive line do in protecting him? That will make or break Oklahoma's season. Defensively, that's their strength, right? This is a Brent Venables defense. Finally, they are, I'm going to use it, elite. They are elite. 8 starters are back, including their top 6 tacklers and 11 of their top 13 tacklers from last year. They only allowed 23.5 points per game last year. That was almost a touchdown better than what they allowed in 2022. So they showed significant improvement from 2022 to 2023. And I expect even more improvement now into 2024, even though they are facing a tougher schedule in the SEC. The linebacking core is loaded, led by Danny Stutzman, 104 tackles last year. The defensive line has Ethan Downs, who led the team with 4.5 sacks last year. The secondary, very good. Billy Bowman had 6 interceptions in 2023. Woody Washington is back there as well. They are loaded at all 3 levels. Really don't see any major weaknesses in this Oklahoma defense. They're going to carry this team. If the offense can play at a high level too, watch out for the Sooners. But we mentioned that schedule. It's tough. It's tough. At Auburn, of course, Texas and Dallas. And then really it's the back half of that schedule from like October 26th to the end. At Ole Miss, at Missouri, Alabama, at LSU. I mean, those games are brutal. I mean, every single one of those teams winning double-digit games last season, all those teams could be in the top 10, top 15 when Oklahoma has to play them, and a good amount of them are on the road. The only one they get to host is Alabama. So, you know, Oklahoma, if they want to have a successful season, if they want to maybe find themselves in playoff contention, SEC title contention by season's end, they're going to need to do a lot of damage on the front end of their schedule to put themselves in a position once they face those tough teams. Well, I'm here to tell you Oklahoma will start 3-0. They will cruise past Temple. They will cruise past Houston, who is a Power 5 team now, or Power 4, I should say. And they will beat Tulane. Despite Tulane still being a very solid school, and despite Tulane nearly upsetting Oklahoma a few years ago, Oklahoma will take care of business. So 3-0. First SEC game is at home, so look at that. Oklahoma stays at home for the first 4 weeks of the season against Tennessee. The Josh Heupel reunion game. Heupel, a previous quarterback for Oklahoma, previous offensive coordinator for Oklahoma, now the head coach at Tennessee. So interesting game there. I'm looking at this game, guys, and I see a lot of people picking Tennessee. I see a lot of people high on Tennessee in this game, and I don't get it. I love Oklahoma in this matchup. I'm looking at this game. Yes, Tennessee has a great quarterback in Nico Iamaleava. They're going to have a dangerous offense. The front seven defensively is pretty good. But you know what I'm seeing here? Nico Iamaleava is going to start playing in the toughest environment he's faced in his young collegiate career. You know, he got to play in the bowl game last year, which was great. They have a tough game against NC State early in the year. But you're coming to Norman for Oklahoma's first ever SEC game against this defense? I don't like it. I think Oklahoma's defense shuts down the young, talented quarterback. He's going to get rattled by the crowd, rattled by this defense. Tennessee secondary, pretty big concern. Jackson Arnold has himself a day where people go, hey, that is our quarterback of the future. He's going to be pretty dang good. Oklahoma wins. I think they win by at least a touchdown, if not more. Give me the win over Tennessee. They're 4-0. And give me the win over Auburn. They're 5-0. This is a tricky game here just because of the road environment. Jordan-Hare Stadium, as we know, not an easy place to play at all. But I'm still not very impressed with Auburn's offense right now. They took some strides last year, sure, and I think they'll take more this year, year two, under Hugh Freeze. But is Peyton Thorne really the guy? Can the rushing offense get anything going against this front seven against Oklahoma? I look at this game, and you can argue that Oklahoma owns the edge in every aspect of this game. Offense, defense, but no home field advantage. Every aspect but home field advantage. And I think the Sooners could overcome that. Like their odds against Auburn here, too. They ease into the SEC schedule a little bit. 2 tough games, but 2 very winnable games. The Sooners take care of both. They're 5-0 heading into their bye week. And then the schedule gets tough. Out of the bye week, the Red River Shootout. You've got Texas. A potential top 10 matchup between the Sooners and the Longhorns. Last year's game was amazing. Oklahoma winning in the final seconds, 34-30 over number 3 Texas. But now I got to go with Texas here. I got to go with the Longhorns now in 2024. Revenge game for the Longhorns, losing that heartbreaker. And just like we said with the Auburn game, you could argue that Texas owns the edge in every aspect of this game. They own the edge, experience-wise, certainly, at quarterback with Quinn Ewers. They've got some great running backs. They've got a great wide receiver core, Steve Sarkisian, loading up in the transfer portal there. The defense, especially that front seven, very, very solid. You could argue Oklahoma's defense is a little bit better, but Texas can hang with them, no doubt about it. Who has the better offense in this game? It's Texas for me. The Longhorns, with revenge on their mind, gets the win over Oklahoma. Keep in mind, they put up over 520 yards of offense on that Sooners defense last year. Maybe it's not as many this year, but the Longhorns do get their revenge in what's going to be another instant classic. But the Sooners take their first loss of 2024 and their first ever SEC loss. Beat South Carolina, I think, with ease a week after. As long as they're not hungover, they should get past Shane Beamer's squad, especially at home. It's a good bounce-back game. Not a game right after Texas where you got to go on the road. Not a game where you've got to face another top 10 team. A game where you should take care of business rather comfortably to get back on track. So Oklahoma has clinched bowl eligibility in their first year in the conference, but I think we all expected that. The expectations are a little bit higher than just 6-6. So they go to their 6th win, then go to Ole Miss. Tough game, man. Ole Miss is a team that I think is not getting overlooked necessarily, but in a way they are. We're in the SEC, and we're talking about Georgia, we're talking about Texas, we're talking about Alabama, and Ole Miss is like, hey, we won 11 games last year. We are loaded on both sides of the ball, both offensively and defensively. Everybody wants to talk about Ole Miss and their offense and how good they are, and they are. But the defense is extremely underrated. 10 starters are back for that Ole Miss defense, one that gave up just 22.5 points per game last year. They are severely underrated. The offense is one of the best in the country. The defense is doing their part. The game is in Oxford. I like the Rebels in this game. I think their defense flexes their muscles a little bit, forces a couple turnovers on Jackson Arnold. I think you see a shootout in this game, but it's the home field advantage and the Ole Miss defense that comes through clutch. The Sooners take their 2nd loss, bounce back against Maine to get their 7th win, and then go on the road to Missouri in an old Big 12 matchup. These two teams used to be conference mates. Then Missouri left for the SEC. It's been about 10 years, and now they are reunited as conference members. During that time, Oklahoma won 18 of the 20 games against Missouri during their time in the Big 12. But those 2 losses both came in Columbia. I think they now make it 3 losses in Columbia. This Missouri team was unbelievable last year. Won 11 games, won the Cotton Bowl. They are still loaded. They got a veteran quarterback in Brady Cook, a great running back core, Luther Burden back at wide receiver. The defense loses tons, but by November 9th, I think the defense is clicking and is still going to be one of the best in the SEC. Now in Columbia, with this stadium rocking, because this has the chance to be a top 25 matchup, Missouri could be in playoff contention, who knows? Give me the Tigers to take care of business with home field advantage on their side. The Sooners are alternating wins and losses here. They come out of their bye week, and the pattern continues because I think they beat Alabama. What? They're going to beat Alabama? Yes, I really believe they will. Look, I like this matchup a lot for Oklahoma. This is a team that, by the end of the year might be better than their record shows, right? The talent's there, the coaching's there, but the schedule, especially with this transition, is just so tough. So you look at it on paper, maybe Alabama's an undefeated one-loss team. Oklahoma's got 3 losses. You go Alabama all the way. Not so fast. Oklahoma off a bye week. That's huge. Well rested. Number 2, Oklahoma's defense against Alabama's offense. Jalen Milroe's great, but if Oklahoma can shut him down, limit his mobility, I like their odds here. He's a good passer, but Alabama's wide receiver core not nearly as good as it was last season. So Oklahoma's got the defense to contain Alabama, right? Number 1. They've got the offense, I think, to exploit Alabama's secondary that could have some issues this year. Factor in the week of rest. Factor in senior day for the Sooners. Factor in this team's going to be better than that 7-3 record shows. I like Oklahoma in this spot a lot. Also factor in that Alabama may be overlooking this game a tiny bit in preparation for the Iron Bowl the next week. Oklahoma gets the win over the Crimson Tide, maybe spoils their SEC title, playoff hopes, whatever it may be. A signature win for Brent Venables in year 1 in the SEC. They beat Alabama, 8 wins on the year, go on the road to LSU for the season finale, and lose to the Tigers, one of the most difficult places to play in the country. LSU has won 7 straight home finales. They are 27-5 at home over the last 5 years. They are 13-1 at home under Brian Kelly. Garrett Nussmeier going to be great at quarterback this year. The offense will be grooving by this point in the season. The defense, as bad as it was last year, I think improves enough. And Jackson Arnold, I do think struggles a little bit in this road environment. He'll face other tough ones. Auburn, Ole Miss, Missouri. LSU, arguably the toughest of the road games the Sooners will face this year, and they fall short to finish the season at 8-4. For many, that's a disappointment. 8-4 is not ideal. Maybe you think they can beat Ole Miss or Missouri or Texas. I don't think they're beating LSU. So maybe they snag 1 extra win in there, maybe, to get to 9-3. But I think that's probably the ceiling for the Sooners this year, just because of how difficult the schedule is. I love the team. I love the staff. I love the defense a lot. 8-4, maybe a disappointment. I say rather successful. 6-7, 10-3, 8-4, kind of right there in the middle. A solid first year in the SEC as the Sooners make this difficult transition. They're very competitive in all of their games. Will clinch a solid bowl berth, and next year could be the year they start flirting with a spot in that 12-team playoff, because the talent absolutely is there. And next year, hopefully, they don't get dealt a schedule that is this difficult, the toughest in the entire conference. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. 8-4 for the Oklahoma Sooners. Leave your thoughts below in the comments. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, share the videos as we continue to progress through our SEC predictions. And also check out everything down in the description below, including our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to those exclusive expert picks. We want you to take advantage of those. Sign up with those today to win big with us and become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.